What's happening, everyone? Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to control and monitor the volume while you're DJing. It's important to know what you're doing when it comes to controlling the volume on the DJ mixer, because you want to make sure that the quality is good, you want to make sure that the volume's correct for the setting that you're playing in, and also it's important that you know that you can hear exactly what you're doing properly by using all of the controls on the mixer. If you look at the DJ mixer, there's loads of faders, knobs, dials, all sorts of things that are going to affect the overall volume of what comes out of the mixer at the end of it. If you look over here, this is a knob that controls the volume going into your headphones, and that is going to be affecting just what comes out of your headphones while you're monitoring the songs that you're queuing up. Here we have our faders, and these are going to control the volume of your left, right deck. You've got 4 of those, and they will control one of each of the decks that are plugged in depending on where you've plugged them in on the mixer. You've also got what's called a crossfader, which can be used similarly to the faders except in a more left or right depending on where your mixer's set next to your decks. This can fade all the way left or all the way right depending on where you want your mix to sit. At the top of the mixer you've got your gains. Each channel has a gain, and you're probably going to want to use that to set the maximum volume that you want once those channels are set to 10 on the mixer. This is so that you can get both songs playing at roughly the same volume before you start mixing, just to make sure that everything sounds just as it should when it comes out of the master. Now the master volume is up here, and that is going to affect the overall volume coming out of your mixer. So if you're in control of the volume of the venue or the place that you're playing, this is going to affect what everyone who attends your event hears. So if you're playing in a venue at the beginning of the night and you might want it to be a bit quiet while the room maybe warms up a bit, you might want to have that a bit lower and slowly bring it up as the night packs out until you hit that peak time. Down here, our final one that we're going to look at is the booth monitor, and that is going to affect the volume coming out of the speakers, which will normally be positioned near the DJ booth so you can hear exactly what people in the audience can hear without any delay or any effects that might have been caused by the venue, like reverb, you know, any echo, all that kind of thing. And that's going to be just here. You'll want to have that set loud enough that you can hear it above the ambient noise or sound in the room. So now I'm going to take you through what the difference is between volume and gain, and why you might want to use the gains instead of the faders for your overall kind of volume of the sound that's coming out. So if I play the track on the right now, you can see that this indicator is showing you the level at which it's playing. So that's the volume that's going to be coming out, and this gain affects that. If I bring it down, you'll notice that its peak volume is coming down at -12 on that EQ there. If I turn it up, you can see the volume coming up there. And this is why we use the gain, because we want to make sure that the sound coming out is nice and clear and not distorting. And you might hear a bit of distortion if you start hitting those reds in that meter. So it's nice to get your sound around there, you know, just peaking in the orange still. If you bring down the faders as well, this will also affect the volume. So sometimes you might see DJs chopping in and out. As you can see, bringing the fader all the way down, you can still see that indicator that tells you how loud it's going to play when you bring the faders up. So that's why we like to use the gain, to make sure that we've got our top volume set, locked in place, that when we do want to have a mix, it's exactly as loud as you want it to be. If you have a look at the gain, you can see there that it's peaking at around 9. Now what we're going to do is get the second track in the mix and keep an eye on the levels to make sure that this track that I'm about to mix in is going to be coming in at the same level or the same peak level as the track that's already playing. So what I'm going to do is start playing it with the fader all the way down. This means that no one's going to hear out loud what I'm listening to. If I turn up my volume or headphones, I can hear the other track playing when I hit that cue button. As you can see, if you look here, the volume, the gain is all the way down, so we're not getting any signal coming into that channel just yet. So what we're going to do is turn it up now that it's playing, and we can see and hear that that song there is now hitting roughly the same peak as the track that's playing. That's an indicator to me that I'm good to have a go at mixing this track now. So what I'm going to do is bring it back to the beginning, knowing very well that this track is going to be at the volume and at the gain control that I want it to be when I'm about to attempt to mix. Now, if we want to turn up the overall volume of our mix, that's when we're going to use that master volume. So if you have a look here, the master volume is turned really low at the moment, so if you want to turn it up, you simply turn that master volume. And then we can turn it down like that. As you can see, the master volume shows you the level overall that is coming out on the mix as well, and that is going to be what people in the audience hear.